Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. It's been a while since I've actually made one, but we had a pretty insane piece of news come out today about the Indiana Pacers, and that's that they are shopping Sabonis, Turner, and LeVert. They are officially open to trading all three of these guys, or at least we know for a fact that it's going to be either Sabonis or Turner who gets traded. Honestly, I think it's going to be Turner just because, Myles Turner is only good at, universally two things. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a great jump shooter, but he's not a shot creator. He doesn't have any post moves. He's a great rim protector, great pick and roll defender, but that's about where the train stops on Myles Turner. I don't know why Pacers fans seem to think Myles Turner is, the next Kristaps Porzingis, and I don't know, maybe with Rick Carlisle there, maybe he is, but I just don't see it. I don't think Myles Turner has the potential of a Kristaps Porzingis. I get it, he's only 25 years old, but I've lost my patience with Myles Turner, and I think a majority of the Pacers fan base has as well. Like, the only people who still want him are people that are huge fans of him, that think he's going to be like the next, I don't know, DeMarcus Cousins or something. And, he doesn't rebound, so it's kind of like, at least with Sabonis, you get a guy who can score around the basket, a guy who can pass, a guy who rebounds. Sabonis is not the greatest defender in the world, but still, he's universally better at a lot of other things, whereas Myles Turner isn't. It's pretty obvious they kind of counteract each other at this point. Turner's the defense and Sabonis is the offense, and it's just not working. So, out of the two of them, most likely Myles Turner is going to be the one who gets traded. That's just what I think, because I feel like if Sabonis were to get traded, they would have to get like a really, really good offer with some picks. Like, one trade that I wouldn't really be angry over, and this is if the Pacers are going a total rebuild route, like we're scrapping everything. And I don't even think this has to be so much of a total rebuild. I personally believe it could just be like a hard reset, kind of. But if they do decide to go the hard, we're rebuilding route, trade Sabonis to the Thunder for Lou Dort and 2 first-round picks, and use your Edmund Sumner trade exception to make that happen. The exception expires on, February, I think. So it's just the idea. Lou Dort is a really good two-way player. He's 6'3". He can play the 2 or the 3, really. And he, you could get a top 5 protected pick from Oklahoma City in the upcoming draft this year, which has Chet Holmgren in it. And I don't think Amani Bates is going to be in the draft this year. That's still up for debate, but a lot of people are saying he's going to go back to Memphis for another year. So I don't know, but we have a draft with Chet Holmgren and Imani Bates in it, potentially, coming up this year. So, anytime you can just get draft assets, if that's the way you're going, great, do it. They could easily get a top 5 pick and a lottery-protected pick from Oklahoma City and Lou Dort for Sabonis. I would take that if you're going the full rebuild route. That's just my personal opinion. I also want to point out here that the Pacers have made it pretty much publicly known that they want to get Duarte more minutes, as well as Isaiah Jackson. So, honestly, I can't even, I don't even know where to begin with Myles Turner, because I really don't know what his value is. The same thing with Caris LeVert. They're shopping all three of these guys, LeVert, Sabonis, and Turner. They're only going to keep one of the two out of Sabonis and Turner. And I feel like Turner's going to be the one that gets traded unless, like I said, the Pacers get some insane offer for Domantas Sabonis. A lot of people are saying Sabonis could go to the Warriors, but I really don't think that's going to happen. The Warriors are playing out of their minds right now, and I feel like a roster change like this, where they're on a hot streak, is just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like that's not going to happen. But Myles Turner at this point is null and void. TJ Warren wants to be a Pacer, but it's just kind of like he's injured a lot. He hasn't played in like a year and a half, and he's on an expiring deal. And if you're the Pacers, I understand TJ Warren would come back, but is he really worth paying? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of where I'm at. So it's like TJ Warren, yes, he's pretty good offensively, but defensively, he's just not that great. There's not anything that really like jumps out on the page. And this team is just riddled with injuries year after year. So I'm just going to call it what it is. I think that TJ Warren gets moved. I think Jeremy Lamb gets moved. And I also think that Caris LeVert and Myles Turner get moved. That's where I'm at. I think there's at least 4 players that are going to get moved on the Pacers roster. Jeremy Lamb, I wouldn't be mad about trading him for Kyle Anderson, mainly because they need a small forward who can do a little bit of everything, and Kyle Anderson is still a pretty young guy. I think Kyle Anderson's 26, and for a team that has a bunch of injuries, Kyle Anderson is actually healthy a lot of the time. I think in his past, 8 seasons, he's played 70 games for 5 of them. He scores, he rebounds, he passes, he plays a little bit of defense. Pacers fans worry about really, really dumb shit. I will say that. They worry about he's not fast, he's not athletic enough. Like, this is the shit that they worry about, and I think to myself, you've got to be fucking kidding me, but this is what they worry about. So, I think Jeremy Lamb for Kyle Anderson would be a nice trade for the Pacers, and not only that, but then they're both on expiring deals, you know what I'm saying? And the Grizzlies are doing all right. Jeremy Lamb, I don't really know if the Grizzlies would do a trade for Jeremy Lamb, considering Kyle Anderson is pretty valuable to them. But who knows? That's just the person I would go after if you want like a real deep dive. But as far as TJ Warren, Caris LeVert, and Myles Turner, we don't know what their trade value is. Everybody's saying we need to get back like a bona fide star for these 3 players, or for Myles Turner at least, and I really don't think that's going to happen. I really think that what's going to happen here is they're going to try to trade Myles Turner for draft picks or a young center. For example, I could see Sabonis or Myles Turner going to the Golden State Warriors for a guy like James Wiseman and maybe Moses Moody or whoever they plan to give up. Something tells me the Warriors wouldn't want to do that. I don't know why, but we also have Chris Duarte, so it's like, do we really need Moses Moody? It's very weird. It's a very weird trade climate for the Pacers, because also with Caris LeVert, I really don't think the Pacers even wanted Caris LeVert. I think they just knew that Victor Oladipo wasn't going to stay, so they were they wanted to get something for Oladipo, and they got Caris LeVert, who to me is more of a bench player than he is a starter. I mean, he has 6th man material written all over him, and I feel like a team like maybe the Nets or the 76ers or whoever would really like to have a Caris LeVert type player. Somewhere out there, somebody's doing a 3-team trade between the Trailblazers, the 76ers, and the Pacers, where they're sending Ben Simmons to the Trailblazers and LeVert to the 76ers and CJ McCollum to the Pacers, and it's a clusterfuck right now. All I know is this doesn't need to be a total rebuild for the Pacers. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't need to be a total rebuild, but they might just go that route. Malcolm Brogdon is a weird fit as it is. He's more of like a combo guard than he is an actual playmaking point guard. And being that TJ McConnell is arguably one of the best backup point guards in the game, and Pacers fans hate him. Don't know why, but they hate him. There's a bunch of teams in the league who would love to have TJ McConnell as their backup point guard, but apparently Pacers fans don't fucking like him. It's just the idea, man, especially with TJ McConnell getting injured now and potentially being out for the rest of the season, which is most likely going to happen. This season's a wash. You know what I'm saying? We're going to finish the season as barely a play-in team. We can't play defense. Our entire roster, to describe it to you, is like an island of misfit toys. You know what I'm saying? We have a bunch of really good, above average players, but none of them are star players. You know what I'm saying? And there are other teams that are tanking at the moment. It's are we really going to hope that the Spurs play better than us? You know what I'm saying? It's really, really weird. Detroit has 4 wins all year. So it's even if you tank, how are you really going to, I guess you could say, determine how much better or worse you're going to play than some of these other teams that are playing really fucking bad right now? You know what I'm saying? The Pacers, I think, are not a bad enough team to play worse than the Spurs or the Detroit Pistons or the Orlando Magic. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think they're that bad. Like right now, yes, they're like, I think the 29th team in the NBA or something like that. But like, based on the rest of the season, I really don't see the Pacers finishing worse than these teams. I just don't. So I really think this will be more so of a reset than it is a rebuild. And I want to put that in Pacers fans' minds, because there's a lot of people panicking right now that, oh my God, we're shopping everybody. We're getting rid of LeVert. We're getting rid of Sabonis. We're getting rid of Turner. No, that's not what's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Brogdon get traded in the offseason, because he can't get traded. Let's just call that what it is. Malcolm Brogdon is going to be on this team for the rest of the year, okay? Brogdon cannot be traded. But in the offseason, Brogdon could be traded. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see a Brogdon trade potentially for a Ben Simmons or something like that. But it really depends on how much time we have. You know what I'm saying? Because we already offered Brogdon for Ben Simmons and Philly turned it down. So, and I feel like Ben Simmons' trade value is decreasing by the day. So I don't know, man. It's really a weird situation. In some weird fantasy world, I came up with a trade where the Pacers could trade for a guy like Kyrie Irving, and I promise you the Nets are missing Caris LeVert right now. They would love, fucking love to have Caris LeVert back right now, especially with Kyrie not playing and Joe Harris getting injured. They would love to have Caris LeVert back, but it's just the idea, man. I don't know in what world that works, you know, especially when the Pacers are, who knows, hard reset, you know, maybe you do swing a trade for Kyrie Irving. Maybe, I know Pacers fans don't like Kyrie Irving, you know, like, oh, he thinks the earth's flat, you know what I'm saying? And I get it, you know, Kyrie Irving comes across that he's not interested in playing basketball and shit like that, and he's unvaccinated, and a lot of people are also throwing around the idea that, you know, Kyrie Irving not being vaccinated is going to, I don't know, make it so he can't play, but that's only in New York. I mean, Bradley Beal's unvaccinated and he's playing. Michael Porter Jr. was unvaccinated and he was playing. And it's crazy because in New York, visiting teams with players who are unvaccinated can play. But if you live in New York, you know, and you play for a New York team, you can't play unless you're vaccinated, which makes no fucking sense to me. But that's neither here nor there. We're not here to debate that. But it's just the idea if Kyrie Irving got traded to the Pacers, it kind of shows signs of a reset. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't give a fuck if Kyrie Irving thinks cars are made on fucking Jupiter, okay? The kid can play, okay? Kyrie Irving is good. Yes, he's got an attitude problem. I get it. But in this market, man, when your team doesn't even really have a star player or a superstar-like player, beggars can't be choosers, man. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think the Pacers are getting Ben Simmons. I think they have a legitimate shot at getting Kyrie Irving if they offer, let's say, Caris LeVert, TJ Warren, and let's say we get the Sacramento Kings involved on it, right? This is a great trade. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the trade I think that could happen. A 3-team deal that I know works on paper because I experimented with this last night. A 3-team deal that would work that sends Kyrie Irving to the Pacers would be sending Caris LeVert, TJ Warren, and Tyrese Haliburton of the Kings to the Nets, okay? And then sending Justin Holiday from the Pacers to the Kings and our first-round pick this year to the Kings in order to achieve Kyrie Irving in a Pacers jersey, all right? And the reason I say that is because also the Kings have 3 point guards, Tyrese Haliburton, De'Aaron Fox, and Davion Mitchell, and Davion Mitchell looks fucking promising, bro. That's all I'm saying. And you could swap Haliburton or Davion Mitchell into that Nets trade, and it would still work. So the Nets could really potentially benefit here by not only knocking off $35 million in salary, okay? They get Kyrie Irving's huge-ass contract off the books, right? The Nets get Caris LeVert. They get TJ Warren, who's on an expiring deal, and they would also get Tyrese Haliburton or Davion Mitchell, who might have multiple years left on their contracts as well. I think Haliburton has 1 year, and I think Mitchell has another 2 years or something to that effect. But then if you're the Nets, you're like, hey, I have a point guard that can play defense. I'm getting a bench scorer in LeVert, and when Warren comes back, Warren can play the 3 or the 4 in our starting lineup. Just saying. And the Nets would get a bunch of much-needed depth in that position as well. So I don't know, man, just something to think about. I don't know what the fuck is going to happen in the next couple weeks here with, you know, the trade deadline approaching. But if you want my honest opinion, Jeremy Lamb is gone. Myles Turner is gone. TJ Warren is gone. Caris LeVert is gone. Okay, these are guys that I think are going to get moved, and just with them sounding like as well that they want Chris Duarte and Isaiah Jackson to get more minutes. Isaiah Jackson kind of brings almost the same thing to the table as Myles Turner. I mean, obviously not shooting, you know what I'm saying? But as far as blocking shots and being like a rim protector, Isaiah Jackson can do that. And you have Sabonis, who looks like he's getting a little more comfortable with shooting the three this year. He looks like he's shooting it pretty well. So I don't know, man. I really don't. I don't have an answer for this. All I'm saying is the Pacers are shopping, okay? And even trades that I've thought would work won't work because of players getting re-signed, and I thought Washington would maybe jump into the mix on this, but, you know, Daniel Gafford is a guy that has a contract extension, but this is the start of free agency. I'm just going to let you guys know that ASAP, off rip, okay? This is the start of free agency as the Pacers are saying, hey, send us offers, okay? We need assets. We're shaking shit up. And I really think that Sabonis won't get traded unless they get a ludicrous offer for Sabonis. So, I don't know, man. It is what it is at the end of the day. Sucks to hear it because I don't know which route the Pacers are going to take. But based on their record, I would say a reset is better than a rebuild at this point, because let's be honest, even if the Pacers try to tank the rest of the season, I don't think they're going to get, you know, a top 5 pick, maybe a top 10 pick, but I don't think they're going to get a top 5 pick. So, and if they do, it'll be just outside of the top 5. You know, maybe 4. I don't know. Maybe the Pacers pick at 4 or 5. Maybe they sneak into the top 5. I don't know, but I just don't see them finishing worse than like Orlando, Detroit, San Antonio, even Sacramento if they decide to get involved in some shit. It just, I really don't know. So, anyway, guys, tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. I'd love to hear you guys' opinions on this. Helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more. This has been the Fast Break Report, and I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.